What's up, people? We're gonna have another conversation. What happened?
Like you just go jump on the people like that.
What's up, everybody? So the conversation that we're gonna have today, maybe we shouldn't be so happy talking about the conversation that we're gonna talk about. So maybe we're supposed to be a little bit sad. Really, acting skills are really bad. But the conversation that we're gonna have today is I love you, but I don't like you. And this conversation obviously came about from being married, and we do you want to start? Okay, so we would have had we won't get into that fully as yet, but we would have right immediately after we got married, we would have had so much things coming against us. And because of that, we recognize at some point on our journey of marriage, I remember looking at you and I would have asked, I said, do you like me? And what do you say? Of course I like you. Yeah, you didn't say that. What do you say?
No.
Yeah, you said, no, I don't. And then you asked me the question and you said, do you like me? And I said no. And we said, like, but how did we get here? And we had to have an honest conversation about it.
Yeah.
The fact that so much, I mean, we were married literally, we were only married, this December is going to be 4 years, and we have been through a lot,
Yeah.
and we would have just emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, everything, we would have went through so much. As I said, we will talk about certain things later, but because of that, it took the very joy out of our relationship. And the person that I would have met a couple years ago, and the reason why we ended up together, because we realized that we would always laugh. I would send you memes or funny things, and you would do the same. And then when we were out, like, you always would make me laugh, and we were always laughing and stuff like that. And then we got married, and then everything was just like bum 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 bum, just like hitting left and right. Is like you in a boxing, like you didn't think that you were gonna be in a boxing ring, and then you got married. You're just in this boxing ring, and you're just getting boxed from the left and the right, and probably from the back as well. You're probably getting jump kick from the back, and so everything just sucked life out of us, I guess, all of the joy and everything. And then we were left with, listen, like, I love you, like I really do love you. And at no point, well, for me, at no point in time didn't I didn't think that I would have made the wrong decision. I always knew I made the right decision.
Me
So
too.
I remember I would tell you, like, listen, like, I know that I made the right decision. I do not regret marrying you, but this is hard.
Yeah.
I know that God would have told me to do this thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to get married to you. I felt a peace getting married to you, a peace that surpassed understanding. And I do not regret this decision. But this, right, whatever we are experiencing, is
It's tough.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
tough, and it feels as if it's like literally choking me.
Yeah.
I remember telling you one time, I'm not sure if you remember, I remember being on the couch. And I remember, yeah, you remember. And I remember telling you at that point in time, I feel as if I'm drowning in the ocean, and I'm out far out in the ocean, and it feels like if there's no what do you call it, life jacket, there's no um there's no boat, there's no what is it? Is it a boy? A
A boy,
buoy, a
yeah.
buoy.
Mhm.
There's no buoy. There's nothing that I can hold on to, and it feels as if the waves are crashing into me, and it seems as if I'm getting pushed down, and then I'm trying to come up and catch for air, but it feels like every time I'm coming out to catch for air, then I feel as if I'm being lashed again.
Yeah.
And I remember telling you that, and it was hard for me to tell you that at that point in time as well, because I was like, I mean, everything happened so quickly. Like like literally a month after we got married, everything just went all over the place. But because of the consistency and all of that, like we life was just lifing, like
It was
literally
like
life was just lifing. And then it was that, because listen, you are taking, when you get into a marriage, you're taking two people from different cultures. We were raised different.
oh yeah.
We were raised different, in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
Because the old people say, "Come see my income, live a man."
Oh yeah.
So we couldn't see certain things. Usually tell people, listen, I thought I was a different person until I got married, because it's
Yeah.
only in marriage that certain things are revealed. You can't see these things while you are single.
Nope.
There are some things that you can see while you're single, so no amount of nothing could have prepared me for that. So there's only some things that you see when you get into marriage, and those things are magnified. Some things are magnified that was already there.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and then other things come up out
Yeah.
of nowhere that you didn't even think was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for us, it's like literally two trying to become one. So it's like a lot of tension. And because you was raised different, even in terms of something as simple as, you are a talker. So when we have disagreements, it's like you want to talk it out. And for me, I wasn't raised like that. So it's like, I need to find a solution. We need to fix this right now. And then for me, it's like, no, I shut down mentally, and then not for a whole day or days or whatever, but I shut down for a little bit so that I can um
Process.
just process everything, and then I will be ready to talk after. But it's like you want to talk immediately. That was as small as it is, that was a big thing for
That
us.
was
It's like
big. That was big.
it's
That
like
was
you
big.
need to talk, and you can't shut down. And it's like, you need to give me time to process everything. Not saying that we can't, we not saying that we
Do that again.
shouldn't, not saying that we shouldn't have compromise, but at that point in time, it's like you needed to understand me and
Yeah.
how I process stuff, and I needed to understand you and how you process stuff. But in general, like marriage, that's what marriage is like two people coming together and becoming this one. And it's like so much things, so much trauma from back then, so much everything. And now then you are hit with life from so much different areas on top of that. So then for us, it was like, oh wow,
Yeah, boy.
like this is a lot. And then we didn't realize that our light for each other was starting to decrease, until we would have spoken about it and said, listen, I don't think that I'm not happy at this point in time. I love you. I love you. I really do love you, but
Mhm.
I'm not happy right now in the space that we are at.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have anything to say? Because I was talking for a good while.
Yeah. No, I was. Let this be your
Yeah, but you
podcast.
could add, and this conversation is just to let you know that it's okay. I mean, because it's with any relationship, a parent and a child, um, friendships,
Yeah.
even church
Yeah.
leadership, and
Uh-huh.
the congregants. At some point in time, I think that we can all say is like, I love you, but I don't like you right now
Yeah.
because of whatever situation we're dealing with at
Yeah.
this point in
Yeah.
time. I love you, but I don't necessarily like you. But the main thing that we've had to first acknowledge that was the first step in acknowledging, because you don't want to say, nah, like it sounds so bad,
Yeah,
as in
yeah,
terms
yeah,
of,
yeah.
like, there's marriage and it should always like my spouse, and I mean that's not true.
Nah,
And the first step was acknowledging, listen,
I'll let you.
I don't like you at some point in time, you, because I remember you telling me, like, I feel resentment towards you, and then for me it's like I feel anger or whatever the case may be, and we had to acknowledge all of that. That was the first step, acknowledging all of that, and then
Yeah,
saying, listen, well, how do we go forward from here? Because we liked each other in the beginning,
we
so it,
did.
it had to be some it had to be something there. So how do we get back how do we get back how do we get back there?
Yeah. No, I'm really not. I'm just here really to nod and to say,
No, you should
yeah,
say your
and
side
to,
and how you feel about it, and
uh,
encourage people.
I, I think what you said is excellent. And very true. It happens that you like somebody before, then you start to live with them and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden life happens, and that's the cool thing, I guess, about courting and friendships, is that you don't actually have to do life together, but then there comes a point where you get married, you actually got to do life together, and then life to start to life, and in our case, as Shan said earlier, life was really lifing on us for a bit, and so the more that happens, you get so bogged down in the reality of life that you stop liking, and that's the
Start
difference. I think
enjoying
I
each
think that's
other.
where the difference is kicking in between love and like, because love is like a choice, and any more, it's more of a choice than anything else, and it's a commitment that you make, and you say, like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna love this person. But liking is much more, I would almost want to say, circumstantial and emotional sometimes and stuff like that. There's other stuff that's connected. Liking somebody a lot of times don't have anything to do with, I don't know. So then let me try to give an example. But like liking is a different story. And so when you get busy with life and everything that's happening, you could be committed to somebody and love somebody, but you don't like being around them. You don't like
it's
the
like
things that they're
strangers
doing.
in you.
Yeah, like literally, I think there was a point where we said that I felt like we could almost be just sharing a house, sharing a space,
Mm-hmm.
which is a sad and a dangerous thing and a space to be in, where you live in the same house, but it's a house. It's not a home. It's just a place where two people live, and
Because we were
they
so
sleep.
burdened with the ish with our problems
Yeah,
that we just, I guess, we just focus on that and not on each other.
yeah. It can happen to anybody, and I think,
I mean,
as
it
Shan
happens at
said,
some point in time to
that's what
everybody.
I think. That's what Shan is saying, and that's why we did the video, because we want you to know that. Well, not to be telling you, not to be trying to speak negative to you, but there gonna come some seasons in your relationships
Yeah.
where everything is not gonna be all hunky dory and butterflies every single time, and you just
Because
can't
we
wait.
thought that, sorry, but we thought that we were going into a honeymoon phase, and people was like,
Yeah,
the honey, we didn't get a honeymoon phase.
at all.
We went straight into
We get Johnny,
trials and
we get pressure.
tribulations. Exactly.
Yeah, this is the truth. That's what happened a lot. And hey, it is what it is.
Nobody, I mean, as much as, well, we didn't say that we did our own votes, but nobody thinks that when they say for better or for worse,
That
for
worst coming.
that worse is coming immediately, because you usually think about years later and all of these things. And one of the things that helped me tremendously is, like, this my husband keeps yawning, as if it seems as if he's bored with my conversation. But um
No, of
one
course
of
not.
the things that helped me, honestly, was the fact that God doesn't give you, because it's like, I mean, it's
Preach, sister, preach.
really okay. So, and you can love somebody and then they just annoy you. Is it not just annoy you? And it was like, it's like God don't give you someone that is just like you, because if He does that, then you cannot learn unconditional love.
Say that
because
again.
because I'm gonna say it again, but wait. Because even, for instance, for me, is like, you it was a lack of understanding, because it's like you wanted me to be like you and I wanted you to be like me. For instance, it's like, um I want you to move quicker, move quicker, move quicker. Like, he just does everything a little bit slower than I would like. And I for him, it's like I'm too fast paced. So I mean, like, you put that together is like, that's issues, but not issues, but I mean, like, it's like
That's issues.
God doesn't put two people the same together. Technically, we are all
Yeah.
going to have differences, because how will I learn unconditional love if you do everything I want you to do? You are the same way as me. All of that is in the issues that I learn to love you unconditionally, and it's in the issues that you learn to love me unconditionally.
Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
that helped me um a lot. And but let's talk about getting back, because you just can't acknowledge that you want to say something.
No, but
You just can't acknowledge that there's an issue.
right,
You have to act on the issue.
right.
So it's not about only saying, listen, I don't like you. So, we had that conversation, we were at dinner, and it's like, I don't think that I like you, and I don't think that I like you either. And then you left it there. It's like, you have to do something.
Yeah.
You have to do something now to get back there. So it's like, how do I get back where we used to laugh and enjoy each other's company before the world just felt as if it was on our shoulders?
Hmm.
So talk about that.
I think that, first of all, a round of applause just for my wife, just like leading an entire conversation all by herself.
Sounds a little bit shady,
It
but
is, but let's go with it all the same.
it's okay.
That's just a round of applause, because if you know my wife, she need put on like talking. So just leading a whole
To the right
conversation.
people, but okay.
The fact that she's led a whole entire conversation is really something worthy of applause. Y'all should put some applause in the comments when
Thank
y'all
you.
see this, because this is major. And then let's pray that this continues for other conversations that we have, that she'll just, all right, one prayer at a time. Anyhow, I think that it starts with, as you said, acknowledging that something is wrong. And then I think it takes effort. It takes a tremendous amount of effort now
Being
to
intentional.
be intentional. Exactly. That's what it takes, a tremendous amount of effort now to be intentional about trying to about rekindling that which was there, but it's now gone. Because it's not. It's gone. But it's not dead.
Can I say something quickly?
Go ahead.
Right. So this is the reason why, like, you have people that are in relationships and just hop from here to here to here, because you started out good. Everything starts so good at first. Yeah, 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 yeah. Lovey dovey, kissy kissy, and then life happens. So then, now when that life happens with that person, then you say, oh, well, this say getting too hard, and then they can skip over here and then go with this other person. But then eventually, all of the lovey lovey and the kissy kissy is gonna end as well too. So it's like walking through all of these phases together, loving unconditionally and being committed to that person, instead of hopping here and hopping there when life gets tough, because life will get tough at some point in time. But go ahead. Sorry, you was talking about rekindling.
Yeah, I think it takes maturity as well. I think that rekindling takes an intentional effort. It takes maturity, because like there's a point where you have to mentally accept in your head and in your heart that the person that you're with was not created to conform to who you want them to be. They were created to be who God has called them to be. And yes, there are things that they can do that will make them better individuals. But even if they don't, there still has to be some good about the person. I think the most intentional, or at least what I did, was I stopped focusing on the things that you did that I didn't like and started to focus on the positive things about you. I think it's a this whole thing about loving and then loving somebody but not liking. I think one of the areas where the enemy really gets into it is he starts to get you focusing on all the things that you don't like, all the things the person does that just drive you insane. When you were liking the person, but
Which may
life
be a
wasn't
lot.
happening, which might be a lot. But when you were liking the person or courting the person and you wasn't married, you was just looking at all the things that you liked.
That's true.
When you was getting together with the person, you was getting together with the person based on
Yeah.
all the things that you liked. So how is it that all of a sudden now
I
that
guess that's the
you get into a
Biz.
marriage, you get into a relationship, and yes, life happens, and you somehow begin to lose sight of
Yeah.
all the things that you want. It's like that person was still there.
It's true.
You just changed your focus.
That's good.
I think that how you do it, how do you rekindle it? You make an intentional effort to look back, to look again at the things that you once appreciated. Look at the things that you appreciate about the person. Because if you look hard enough, you'll notice that the person that those things are still there. Now it doesn't negate the fact that the person still has things that they need to work on.
Definitely.
It doesn't negate that. But it's like you get what you're looking for. You know, like so if you are looking for somebody to fail, they're going to fail. It's inevitable. They're going to fail because you expect them to fail. And you're looking at them and you're looking at them with the expectation that they will fail. But if you expect them to succeed, even in their failures, you will find something to celebrate and to encourage them to continue to grow. It really is just a matter of the I guess your focus and where your attention is and what you're looking at. Or, you know, like what are you feeding? So I think what has worked for us is that we made an intentional choice to refocus our time and our attention on the things that we appreciated about each other. Because it doesn't negate the fact that we still have work to do and that we still aren't perfect individuals and that we still have to grow and that there's still things that I do that annoy you and still things that you do that annoy me. That's life. That's going to happen. You were, as you said correctly, you weren't created exactly like me and I wasn't created exactly like you. So that tension of not being created exactly alike is going to exist through life. That's just how life goes. However, I can choose if I'm going to spend every day just looking at and thinking about all the things that you don't do. And then the enemy gets in there and starts to show you even more things to not like. And then you just find yourself consistently every single time you see the person now, you miserable. The person just breathe and you vex at the breathe. They ain't breathe hard enough.
That's right.
They should have breathed softer. They could have breathed with more air. They could have breathed through the nose instead of the mouth. They could have breathed through the ear instead of the eye. Like, things are just so, in the grand scheme of things, young and dead. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But we get so focused on the wrong things.
True.
And that's not what marriage is about. And I want you to understand that the first goal of marriage is to mirror the relationship that God has for and the love that God has for His church. You think that if God spends every single day looking at all the things that we don't do, you feel that any of us got a chance? Like we lost, like we forever doomed. You think if God says don't think about all the times that we do things that's annoying Him, that He don't appreciate, that He don't like the things we did and doing, and
That's good,
we doomed. But the beauty of all of the relationship and the love of God is that He sees the flaws, He sees the faults, and still loves us and still decides to focus on what we can become and what He has created us to be and what He deserves to be and deserves to see us become. And that drives Him. So for God so loved the world, somehow I feel like I'm preaching now. But anyhow, He loved us so much that He gave us His Son. He gave us because He loved us. We didn't deserve it, but He gave us anyhow. And that's just the reality. He chose to see the best in us. Where everybody else saw the worst in us, that's a song. But He saw the best in us and gave us His best. He looked and saw what we could become and gave us and ignored everything else and gave us His best. In reality, that's what you've got to do if you find yourself, or when you find yourself in the stages of life where you love the person but you don't like them anymore. You have to make that intentional effort in that moment to say, you know what, I need to switch my focus. I need to switch my focus. Like how they say that some people see the glass as half full and some see it as half empty. It's just a matter of the perspective. The optimist sees it one way, the pessimist sees it another. Maybe you got to stop being a pessimist and start being an optimist and look and see what is there to appreciate. And I'll tell you the truth, and this might be the secret of it all. What has happened, I'd say, for us is that the more that we've tried to focus on the things that we appreciate, it has motivated each other to work on the things that we know that the other person doesn't like and try to get that thing to a better state as well, to try to become better as well. Because no, it doesn't feel like it's a consistent misery. It's actually a joy. And now you're working to grow to be better because you actually do love the person. But you also don't just love them. No, you love them and you like being around them.
Again.
Again, the most miserable thing you could ever do is be married to somebody that you love but you don't like, or be in a relationship with somebody that you love them because you committed to them but you can't stand them.
And I mean, at some point in time, something will come up again. At some point in time, that we have to work on again.
Yeah.
You know, different seasons in life, different things that you go through. But then you just do it again. You just do it again.
Correct.
You just continue to keep doing
Correct.
it. Every time you see that it is going left, you pull it. You eventually then pull it back right.
Correct. It is an intentional,
so it never stops.
Effort. Nope. It's an intentional effort. But that was my little 2 cents.
I mean, that was like $10. That was like $10. That was not 2 cents. We don't use cents anymore. We don't use cents anymore.
I came back and
that was $10.
I came back and listened to the podcast that my wife did preaching on. She won't. I came back in my corner, right? Cool.
Right, but I think that's basically it. I think you finished it off well.
Okay.
I think we just wanted to, because we were having a conversation about it. Everything we have a conversation about, we probably just bring here. Well, not everything, but things that we think are beneficial for you. But we just wanted to let you know that these things happen.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, no marriage is void of these things. Well, I believe no marriage is void of these things. Nobody's perfect. No marriage is perfect.
Mm-mm.
And so when these things happen, you don't just give up, basically, and look to go somewhere else. I mean, even in I guess it can happen in a relationship as well too.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to only be in marriage. And you just, once you know that you love the person and this is what God has called you to, then you get back where you was at one point in time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Closing remarks, word of thanks, anything? You sure? So let's get to the question of all questions. Do you like me now? Okay. Do you like me?
This is so my right hand. You're supposed to use my left hand.
Do you like me?
I do like you.
Okay.
I do.
See, you're not getting it right.
Do you like me now?
No, just kidding. I do like you. But it is possible, and you can do it.
I feel bad about that.
It's okay. You're gonna get better. It's possible, and you can do it. So until our next conversation, we'll see you. Bye.